Good morning. I've been asked to show how we could get an analog and digital locomotive to run over the same piece of track at different times while they are running parallel to each other on my model railway. As in, you all saw the digital locomotive going along here, then you saw it coming down here, you saw the analog locomotive coming along here, then going across the same piece of track. And the first thing you need to do is this area here, you need to treat as a separate model railway. And what I've done, and you'll see the cotton buds to the right, not very professional, is I've put isolators on the track. Now I've used Pico rail joiners SL11s, which are just basically plastic insulating fish plates, and they come in a bag like that. So you've got everything here isolated. If you don't have it this way, then you are going to have your digital controller blow up your analog controller. Now what you have next is you need to supply this track with power, because obviously whether you're running digital or analog, when the loco comes to here it'll stop, and in the other direction. And what I've got is obviously a red cable, you can't see them, and a black cable going to here. So I've got one power source to this piece of track. Now the switching is easy. So if you can imagine that is that. So what you have is the central spades, three-way, I think they're called a three-way two-gang switch, I'm not sure. But what you have is, you have this central spade connectors, black and red, going to the track. You then have the digital power, which in my case is going to here. So when I flick that, which is that, then that directs digital power to the track. So here, the black and red here are connected to the track. I flick it that way, I then get digital power going to the track. The analog controller is connected to here. When I want analog, I flick it that way. It's so simple. Now an on-off switch is not good enough because you'll get bleed. You've got to have a switch where it's on, off, on. It has to be on, off, on. And it has to be a 15 amp switch. So I say again, the power to the track, the red and black to the track is connected here. The digital power in my case is connected there, and the analog power is connected there. Because it's a switch with an off in the middle, then you're not going to get any bleed. So in my case, analog is that way, digital is that way. Now with my layout just diversifying slightly, because I have an inner and outer track and I may want to run them both in analog, this is where mine is just a little bit different, and I will explain. So when I choose analog, I haven't got the analog controller connected to there. What I've got is the centre of the switch, which is here, analog inner and outer track. Now what I've then got is I've got the power for the outer track connected to their analog and the inner track connected to there. So if I want to do analog, which I've shown, the analog power is this one, but obviously mine's fed a different way. But if you're just running digital and analog one track, then you would just have your analog power there. But with me, I've switched to analog, black and red goes to there, then I've got the power from the left hand track and the right hand track going to there, then you select it. Digital, down, you've then got the digital controller supplying power to the track. And you can see it really is that simple. And we take that away. So imagine you've just got 2 tracks and you just want to make it really simple. You just have the black and red going to the track there, analog power there, digital power there, and you flip the switch and that decides what you're going to run. It really is that simple, and I don't know why people make it complicated. Well, I hope this has been of help to some of you and given you an insight on how you make analog and digital run together should you wish to. However, be aware once you've done this, the way you do this is like this. When you test it, make sure when you test the analog power that the digital controller is switched off. When you're testing the digital controller, make sure the analog controller is switched off. So that's basically how you do it. And when you're testing, what you do is you light up the rest of the track and make sure there's no bleed either way. So I hope I haven't made this too complicated. I've made it as simple as I can, and thank you for watching.